The bell rings inside the Hiroshima broadcasting station at 8:13 in the morning. An announcer, Masanobu Furuta, grabs the message slip off the relay desk. He opens the microphone to read a single sentence into the air, warning that 3 large enemy aircraft are closing on the city. Then the world explodes. What makes that moment so haunting isn't just the bomb itself, but the fact that Hiroshima's air defense network saw those planes coming long before they arrived. The radar operators tracked the flight path while the watchpost logged every movement, and the warning made it all the way to the broadcaster's hand. We have to look at how a system that sees the end coming still fails to stop it. By August of 1945, Japan's air defense network is a functioning machine, with radar stations ringing the home islands and watchposts covering the mountain ridges. Civil defense sirens are wired into cities across the country, and they connect to a broadcast relay chain that can push a warning from an operations room to a radio announcer in minutes. On paper, the entire setup works exactly as intended. The problem is what months of constant alerts do to the people sitting inside that system. Hiroshima has been on high alert since the spring, which means warnings go up and warnings come down without anything ever happening. The B-29s pass overhead on their way to other targets, or turn back entirely. Yet the sirens pull people out of their beds night after night. The threat never actually lands, and the result is that routine slowly kills any sense of urgency. The night of August 5th runs through multiple full alert cycles before the sun even comes up, and by the time dawn breaks, the entire population is exhausted. Factory workers are already filing back to their posts, while students make their way to school. And the city keeps moving because hundreds of false alarms have taught everyone that staying still is a waste of time. At 7:09 in the morning, the sirens go off again when a high-altitude aircraft passing near the city triggers a caution warning. The familiar sequence starts up one more time, but people just glance at the sky and check their watches while they wait for the noise to stop. At 7:31, the all-clear sounds. The radar operators see no more than 3 planes on their screens, and 3 planes don't justify a full air raid warning under the protocols they use. The alert is lifted and the city exhales because the threat feels small and manageable, which sends people back outside to resume their work on the factory lines. Furuta sits at his broadcast desk with nothing left to announce, and for a few minutes everything feels normal. What nobody in Hiroshima knows is that those planes haven't actually left the area. They've formed up over the city's northeastern approach and are holding their position because the mission profile calls for a visual drop. The crew is still circling and waiting for the clouds to clear over the target, but the radar operators weren't wrong about what they saw. 3 planes really were all that appeared on the glass, and 3 planes had never been a reason to panic before. That technically correct call is sitting at the center of the disaster because those aircraft are carrying something no one in the air defense network has ever planned for. The clock is already running. A watchpost east of the city picks up the formation again just after 8 in the morning, spotting 2 large aircraft before the count corrects to 3 closing from the direction of Saijo. The sighting gets logged and pushed up the chain of command until the operations room finally drafts a warning. They report 3 large enemy aircraft advancing from Saijo and advise that strict caution is required. From that specific moment until the detonation, only 6 minutes pass. 6 minutes sounds like enough time to react, but the reality on the ground is much different. The citywide siren network needs several minutes just to spin up, and the broadcast relay chain has to move the message from the operations room to the radio station. Furuta needs time to read the slip, open the microphone, and actually get the words out to the public. On the other end of that broadcast, you have a population that was told 30 minutes ago to go back to their normal lives. getting people off the streets and into shelters in 6 minutes after a morning of false starts is not a realistic outcome, because the system was never built for a gap that small. The bell rings on Furuta's relay desk at 8:13, and he grabs the slip to open the mic for a single sentence. He begins to announce that 3 large enemy aircraft are closing on the city, but the flash comes before the sentence even ends. What the people on the ground experienced in those last seconds gives the failure a physical shape. Tomiko Okabe heard a B-29 passing overhead and noticed it was strange that no siren had sounded, while Tadashi Hasegawa heard the engines and spotted something glittering in the air. He watched something red descending through the sky, and then the world went white. Lawrence Fumio Miwa watched 3 B-29s cross the sky and saw a parachute-like object drop away from the formation, counting roughly 10 seconds before the explosion swallowed everything around him. What Miwa and Hasegawa almost certainly saw were not the bomb itself, but the instrument canisters, which were parachute-retarded containers dropped alongside Little Boy to measure blast pressure for the scientific team. These were real, physical objects visibly descending through the air, and they were the last thing a lot of people in Hiroshima ever saw clearly. The 7:31 all clear hadn't just silenced the sirens, it had reset the city's entire sense of what danger felt like. When the engines came back and the objects started falling, the people had no frame of reference for what was happening. No siren told them to run, and no voice on the radio told them to get down. The warning was literally in the air, but it arrived 37 seconds too late to matter to anyone. At 8:16, the Broadcast Control Center in Tokyo notices the Hiroshima station has gone dark as the signal simply stops. They try to reach the city by telephone but get no answer, and 20 minutes later, the Railroad Telegraph Center flags that the main line near Hiroshima has stopped transmitting. Trains are still scheduled and cargo is still moving on paper, yet the city on the other end of the line has ceased to exist as a functioning place. Tokyo sends a message to the army base south of the city asking for a situation report, but there is no reply. For several hours, the capital has no idea what happened to the city. They know it went silent, but they have no way of knowing why. The watch post saw the planes, the operations room logged them, and the broadcaster opened the mic. Every link in the chain did exactly what it was designed to do, yet none of it was fast enough. The chain was built for a world where 3 planes were a nuisance, not an ending. That is the thing that's hardest to sit with when you look at the timeline. The system didn't fail because someone ignored the radar. It failed because the radar told the truth, and the truth wasn't enough. The entire threat calculus of Japan's air defense network rested on assumptions that August 6th made obsolete in an instant. 3 planes had never ended a city before, and Furuta's unfinished sentence is the clearest image the record leaves us. It was a warning that reached the right desk at the right moment, but there was no time left for it to land. For more deep dives into military history, make sure you're subscribed to the channel.